Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom, and I make videos that help you awaken your soul and manifest your highest destiny. Before we get into today's video, I want to share with you a couple of announcements. The first being that I've opened up my one-on-one coaching spots for 2021. So if you'd like to have a one-on-one coaching session with me, you can check out the link below and book that. I will say I am doing very limited one-on-one sessions this year because I want to focus on various other projects and creative endeavors, etc. So be sure to book in fast if you would like that one-on-one session, so there's no long wait for you if you urgently feel inspired to speak with me. And of course, it would be my honor to speak to anyone that feels inspired to have a session with me along their manifestation or spiritual paths. And secondly, be sure to check out the Ultimate Manifestation course, which is a comprehensive A to Z guide on how you can manifest your desires. There's lots of exercises in it, exclusive information, etc. And I've had some very positive feedback on those that have already enrolled. So if you'd really like a powerful boost in your manifestation path, something that can put you on track, well then you can check that course out below. All the links are in the description. So today's video is titled, "The Universe Confirms Whatever You Affirm." I got this title from Matt Kahn. I don't know if he came up with it or if he heard it from somewhere, but I really like that title because it's very powerful and true. And so we're going to go with it. The universe confirms whatever you affirm. What's the power in understanding this? Well, really, firstly, it helps remind you and helps you become reacquainted with the truth that you are a divine co-creator. That you actually have a capacity to manifest what you want in your life. You don't have to be a victim of life. You're a divine spark of the source, and you have creative capacities, and you can manifest things into your life consciously and deliberately. So this video is all about reminding you of that inner power and helping you feel more empowered within yourself so that you can start experiencing, manifesting and creating the life of your dreams. And the second benefit of this topic is we're going to explore all about affirming, what it means to affirm, and how to actually develop this deep sense of inner conviction and belief. So we're going to cover a lot in this video, so stick to the end to get all of these powerful insights for your life. And so firstly, let's break down this sentence. What does it mean to affirm something? Well, really what we're talking about are the things that you repeat to yourself on a consistent basis. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently goes into your subconscious mind, shifts your frequency, and starts manifesting your reality, a new reality. And so whatever you repeat to yourself over time creates this state of belief. Whatever you allow yourself to be certain with shifts your frequency, and then the life that's mirrored back to you starts drastically changing for the better. So we're talking about what we repeat to ourselves. That's what it means to affirm something. And when we talk about the universe confirming what we affirm, what I mean by universe is really consciousness. The universe is an expression of consciousness, of the source. In fact, everything is. We are all sparks of the source. The source, another word you could use for that, is God. It's the infinite creator from which all manifest expressions of consciousness originate from. And so the universe, our physical universe, this planet Earth, all the stars, all the solar systems, all the people, plants, beings, all of that is an expression of consciousness originating from this divine source of love. So you can think of this universe as God's Play-Doh. You know, like a toddler plays with that substance, builds things out of it. Well, that's what God or the source is doing with this universe and with you in your life. It's using consciousness as its Play-Doh to express itself in absolutely infinite ways. And the purpose of the universe existing, and by extension every possible dimension that we're not even aware of, but the purpose of consciousness being infinite in its expressions is twofold. The source wants to, firstly, experience itself in every conceivable way. Every possibility, it wants to experience itself. It has this infinite intelligence, infinite power, infinite love, and through that, it acquires the divine will to want to express itself in these infinite ways, just to celebrate itself, just to express itself. Because it's absolutely infinite. So it absolutely infinitely expresses itself in all forms of consciousness, and our universe is one such expression of it. The second purpose of why this universe exists is so that through this experience of itself and all these possibilities and in this universe, and as you, as a soul, through this experience, it can remember itself. It can remember its divine origins. It can remember its essential nature as love. Because as itself, as the source itself, there's nothing by which to compare itself to. In fact, we can hardly say anything about this source consciousness, because saying anything adds something to it. But really, it is. It is the I am. It simply cannot be described. And so it needs this expression of itself in consciousness in all these infinite ways. And as you, the special being you are. So that through that experience, it can remember itself. And it can become reacquainted with the love it is. And so that's where we find you, the special being you are, as a soul on this planet Earth, in this universe, which is one such expression of infinite consciousness from this divine source. You are a soul. And the reason I call you a special being, because as a soul, you have certain creative capacities that other expressions in consciousness don't have. For example, a rock is a more limited expression in consciousness. And then a plant or an animal, again, is a more limited expression in consciousness, although it's more expressive than a rock. But a plant or an animal isn't as expressive as a human being, or as the soul that you are as a human being. And so the reason you're special is because as this human being, you not only have a mind and a body, but you have awareness. Awareness of a sense of self, which we could loosely call ego. But then what's really interesting and what's happening around the world is an awareness of the spiritual dimension within you, or a remembrance of your divine origins, of the fact that you are an extension of this source consciousness. That's what's so special about you. And in a nutshell, that's the purpose of this video, is that I'm a soul reminding another soul of that which we've always been, an expression of the source, which is divine love. And so you as a soul find yourself in this universe, and you're here to express yourself in a certain way, so that through your life experience, the source can not only gain that experience, but remember itself through you. And so what are the two key rules of a soul in this universe? The two key rules that relate to whatever you affirm becoming reflected into your life. Well, firstly is freedom of will. So as an extension of the source, as the soul you are, the human being you are, you have free will. In some sense, you could say that from the highest perspective of the source, everything's already complete. Because the source is kind of in this state of eternity, so it's above a linear time, so to speak. So from its perspective, everything is already complete. Creation is already complete. But paradoxically, when you are a soul living out a seemingly linear life on this planet, you have free will. And so whichever way you want to go, whatever direction you want to head in your life, whatever you want to create is up to you as a soul. You have freedom of will. So that's the first rule of reality creation as a soul on this earth and in this universe. And the second rule of the soul you are is you have power of intention. Intention is the direction with which you want to take your life. It's the desires you want to manifest. It's the dream life you want to experience. The power of intention is up to you, and using the power of your intention in conjunction with your free will, you head your soul down a certain direction in this universe. Now, how is that possible? Because, again, consciousness is infinite. So there's not one static universe, but as we've learned from quantum physics, there are infinite quantum timelines. Or we could say infinite parallel reality life tracks or timelines. So you as a soul have free will, and you have the power of intention, and whatever you affirm to yourself is the intention you set. And then as the conscious you are as a soul, you flow down a certain timeline. And in that timeline, the universe, which is also consciousness, starts warping itself around the consciousness you are as a soul and configuring itself to reflect what's going on with you as a soul consciousness. That's what it means to be a divine co-creator. The inner conviction that you have, whatever you affirm to yourself, creates this certain frequency that your energy goes into or your consciousness goes into, and this starts collapsing a certain timeline that you flow down. And in this certain timeline, in this certain expression of consciousness, whatever is happening within you as a soul is reflected back to you. The essence of your vibration and frequency and deep inner beliefs and convictions, what you've affirmed yourself, is mirrored back to you in the life track you flow down. And so there are infinite different timelines because there are infinite different expressions in consciousness. And creation is already done as absolutely everything. So really it's about using your free will to flow down a certain quantum timeline or certain manifestation of consciousness that lights you up the most inside, knowing that there's only infinite abundance, that everything's done, and whatever you want is available to you and is under the ordinance of your divine co-creative role. So what you manifest is up to you. Think of it like a playground at school, where like these kids waiting in the classroom, and then as soon as the bell goes, we run out to the playground to experience anything we want, to have all kinds of adventures. Well, that's exactly what it's like when you're a soul. You come into this human form, you assume this beautiful being that you are, this human being you are, this special being you are. And then you're out in this playground, which we call planet Earth, to experience, explore life, to create what you want. And so as these kids, what do? Well, sometimes we play in the playground. We go on the swings. Then we learn through that experience, oh, that's not really for us. Maybe I'm going to pick up a basketball. I'm going to play basketball. Oh, I really like that. So that then we become more fine-tuned in what we want to create. That's exactly what happens in life. It's like a big playground with lots of little kids, although we're respectable adults, right? But it's exactly like that. We learn through all the experiences we have in life what we want to create and how to use our free will, and we start becoming more conscious co-creators using our power of intention to affirm and believe that which aligns with our dream reality, and we allow reality or the universe as consciousness to reflect back and mirror the state of consciousness or frequency we are in. There was a good example of how this actually happened for me. So when I was about 12 or 13, I was at a school, it was an all-boys school with about 150 boys. And I realized looking back that I actually used the power of affirming something to myself back then without realizing I was doing it. And then I realized that the universe reflected it back to me. And it literally was an example that took place on the schoolyard. So there were about 150 boys in our year, and I had a passion for basketball. I played a lot of other sports, and I realized I love basketball. And I experienced a lot of different things at lunchtime, and I realized I love playing basketball the most. And so I started not only setting the intention that I'm going to play basketball at lunch, but I started really believing I'm the best in the year of basketball. I want to be the best basketball player out of the 150 boys. And I really started becoming emotionally involved with that and repeating that to myself, affirming that to myself, such that gradually as the weeks passed, I started to shift into a different frequency. My identity started to shift at a deep subconscious level. And when this happens, of course, it becomes a feedback loop. So you start practicing basketball more. And then as you practice more, you get better, which helps you believe it even more, which helps you affirm it even more to yourself, which then again sets up a new frequency within yourself. And reality is the mirror it is, as the consciousness it is reflecting back to you starts shifting. So as I kept believing and affirming that I'm the best in the year and that I'm going to play basketball at lunch, I used to find myself on those courts playing against all the other guys and sometimes winning for the entire lunchtime. I remember there was this one time, actually, we used to play this game called King, which is a 2v2 game, and you're with a partner, and all the boys line up in twos, or like the line used to go all the way around the corner, and there'd be a huge audience of boys watching 2v2 game. And if you win, you stay as the king of the court. And so the game's called King. And I remember there was this one lunchtime where I was so aligned with this identity. I was so in the conviction that I was the best in the year level and that this is the most optimum experience I want to have in life. And I'd been doing that for several months, that this particular lunchtime we were undefeated. And I remember there was this one point where the ball rolled behind the backboard. And instead of like picking it up and dribbling it around and maybe even passing it to my teammate, I'm like, nah, I'm taking this shot. And I remember just picking it up, shooting it all the way over the backboard and it going in, swish. And I remember everyone in the year level turning back to me and going, wow, and like picking me up. And I felt like a king. I didn't make the professional leagues, but but it was just a beautiful example of me actually using that system unconsciously, the whole mechanism of co-creation unconsciously, affirming what I want and then allowing life to reflect that back to me in due time. So again, whatever you intend to manifest and create in your life, and repeat yourself again and again and again as an affirmation of truth, increases the likelihood of that quantum possibility or timeline manifesting for you. It increases the chances that that expression of consciousness will be mirrored back to you by the universe. So you set the intention, you create this state of affirmation and belief, and that starts informing your actions and choices, which creates a self-fulfilling loop of manifesting experiences and results, and it creates a powerful feedback loop and cycle that builds and builds and builds until you're in that reality. And what you intended to create is actually confirmed by the universe in a physical sense, in your physical life. Even though everything is actually non-physical and made of pure consciousness, you get the idea. So what do you want to manifest? It's important to get clear on what do you want to create. What desire lights your heart up the most? Because what you're passionate about, you'll naturally have that desire and willingness to set that intention, to repeatedly affirm that to yourself, because it lights you up inside. And simply the act of becoming involved in that state of belief with your dream reality is a joyful act in and of itself. And so whatever your dream life is, whatever desires truly light you up inside and mean the most to you, that's what you can start manifesting. That's the most powerful way to use your intention. Go with what resonates emotionally with you. And remember that as you manifest that which you seek, it's not necessarily about you just getting that thing. That's only part of it. So yes, you can manifest a soulmate relationship, or a dream career in business, or a state of financial freedom and abundance in your lifestyle, or even a spiritual goal of self-realization and awakening and enlightenment. You can manifest all these things, but the universe will also, in the process of you manifesting them, be remembering its divine origins through the soul you are. So that's the twofold purpose of it, as I spoke about. Not only you experiencing the most wonderful life of your dreams, but in that you manifesting every single experience you need to simultaneously remember that which you've always been, which is the divine within you. So both of those are part of this manifesting process of the universe confirming what you affirm to yourself. So it's all about the unity of soul and source. And so through this process of unifying soul and source, you not only will increase the quality of your life and what you experience in an external sense, but you will become the fully embodied co-creator you are always destined to become. And that in turn will touch, awaken, and inspire the hearts of all fellow souls who themselves are ready in their own journeys to become conscious co-creators and also awaken to the divine truth within themselves. So how do you practically affirm your desire so that the universe can confirm it back to you? Well, it's really three key things. The first is what we've spoken about, clarity of intention. What do you want to create? Becoming clear on what lights you up inside and following that passion and resonance for the desire that lights you up the most. And just trusting that good feeling state is a sign of true resonance with this desire. And once you have clarity of intention, the second thing is repetition. It's about becoming connected to this desire and affirming it to yourself on a repeated basis. Just like building a new habit. The more you do it, the more it locks itself in. When you affirm something, it starts off as just a thought or a kind of a very weak state of belief. But then over time and with that repetition, it crystallizes into a deep belief and a deep inner conviction and knowingness. And by the time that's happened, so much evidence has begun manifesting in your external reality to support you in kind of mirroring ways that always feel really good and always occur with divine timing and at the perfect pace for you. So you get that confirmation and you get that crystallization of the belief and inner conviction within you through repetition. And that's what it really means to affirm in a powerful way. And when you're doing your repetition, the third thing is to remember to experience the frequency of your desire or dream reality. And this is all about emotion. Without emotion, you're just saying thoughts to yourself. But when you taste that reality and you become that version of yourself in the now, your nervous system, your cells, your entire frequency become that version of you. And in that happening, there really is no difference between the frequency you're in now and the frequency you'll be in when it physically manifests in your life. So you download that frequency in, and again, that immediately shifts you into a different quantum timeline, and the kind of life you start collapsing around you, the kind of things you experience as the universe reflecting itself back to you starts instantly changing. So feel it to be true. Feel it and become it in the here and now. That is absolutely key. And so when you have all of those three ingredients in place, that's the most powerful way to affirm. And then you simply follow this process with flow and you allow the universe to confirm to you at its own pace. You don't become insistent or desperate. As best you can. It's all okay as well. As I've covered, you don't have to be perfect. But it's simply about allowing it then to unfold. Knowing that you, as a co-creator, have done everything in your power to use your freedom of will and intention to create that inner state. And that's all you can do. That's your role. Not about controlling external, but just turning within to the source of power within you. Alright, that's the video on the universe will confirm anything you affirm. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Subscribe to my channel. Check out the one-on-one coaching. Check out the Ultimate Manifestation course. And stay tuned for more videos on manifestation and spirituality. Thank you.